Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Summer Promotion. My goodness, it's almost ticking over to that 7-hour mark. But KONGDOO Monster, they finally managed to win a game, and they did a hell of a lot of damage in it as well.
And while casting League of Legends for 7 hours is fine, is difficult. Spare a thought for the Ever8 players who have been there the entire time. They have been able to take some breaks, but you don't take a mental break after you realize that you'll be playing again in a best-of-3 for your opportunity to play in LCK Summer 2018. The loser is eliminated from contendership. It will be down to 3 teams, of which only 2 can advance forward. Feels like a while ago this game, because we had the extended break. Sorry about that, guys. They were playing a video on the Korean stream that they don't have the rights to show on the global stream. We were learning about Score and UCAL and
we were.
What they're all about, the oldest and youngest players in the league.
I like how you say we're learning about them. Really, we were just seeing whether they're good at rapping, which UCAL was actually pretty good at, to be honest.
Why are you saying that whether they're good at rapping or not is not relevant? It's a big part of your career is your rap god nature.
But are they going to be like commentators?
Maybe.
Is that what they're playing? Okay, well in that case, then we're learning a heck of a lot about KT players, but that is not relevant to this particular series. Papa Smithy, as we are going to have some player changes. Yujune's going to make his way in for KONGDOO Monster. We have a lot of skepticism as to why.
Well,
that is.
They won game 1, and he hasn't won a game yet. All their games have been through Raze, and honestly, most of their MVPs were through him too. So, given they just needed a single win, it is a little bit of a surprise to see Yujune come in.
Yeah.
Going to be changes on the side of Ever8, and the side selection is perhaps surprising as well. We continue on.
Yeah, you can see the blue lights in the booth for KONGDOO Monster showing that they will be on the blue side this time around, as we are going to have, yeah, like you say, some more changes. Ever8 winners also adjusting the roster ever so slightly, and by ever so slightly, I mean they're removing a couple of players and switching things around.
Times they are a-changin', said Bob Dylan, as Kuma will be out in this game, will be replaced in this one by Hoglet, who was their starting jungler before Kuma joined the roster in March. It's going to be a double change from Ever8. We had a lot of time to look over at the booths, as there will be a support change as well. That's what we were told, so spoilers.
Yep.
I think it's happening. There we go. Goodbye, Aegis/Aegis. I went with Aegis because that's the name of the item in the game. We didn't have a photo of him, but we do of Lucifer.
Yeah, Lucifer's coming back. Yeah, the God of Death. How did they get a photo of him? Oh,
I don't know.
They had that one on file already.
Maybe this is just his mortal form. He is sneering in the photo. He's
that's
like,
true.
You think this is what I look
like?
like?
Oh no, but he's smiling there. Oh, I'm just very confused.
Wait, if you were Lucifer in this corporeal realm, wouldn't you be smiling also?
Yeah, I probably would. Have some time out of the underworld, you know, just chill out. Maybe like you get used to the underworld though. Maybe he likes it. You know, he's got all of those souls of the dead and all that sort of stuff that he's like having fun with.
Including Senna, of course.
Yeah.
Sad Lucian is sad.
Okay, guys, but does mean that we are going to have a very different game moving into game number 2. KONGDOO Monster finding the win in game 1. It was in dominant fashion towards the end there as well. I mean, there were a couple of fights that Ever8 winners were able to try and claw onto, but just too far behind by the time the game was over.
Well, we see MC in the coaching booth for KONGDOO. That probably means we're getting down to business here. Ever8 winners versus KONGDOO Monster, potentially our final game of the night. But for that to happen, KONGDOO Monster would have to arrest their losing streak, Atlas. A lot of things working against KONGDOO, both in this game and this series. KONGDOO Monster have lost 15 best-of-3s in a row, and Yujune has never won a game at the LCK level. Technically not the LCK level today, but at the professional level, still going to be relevant. And no one is interested in playing against Sun's mighty Anivia.
Yep, that Anivia has been banned away first up in every single game that Ever8 winners have been in. Rakan is going to be taken off the board here as well, so KONGDOO not going to have access to the Lovers bot lane once again, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. Talia once again is going to be taken away, and KONGDOO, considering the fact that they are once again on the blue side, things are completely fine. They're just going to ban everything that they did before, because why change something that ain't broke?
The Morgana ban will come out in this game. We're seeing a lot of Morgana focus in recent memory. It was the first ban for Ever8 in the previous series.
Yeah.
We're rolling along here. Olaf taken away from Yujune. Notice that it is not Raze, who's been a pretty damn good Olaf, even if he hasn't been able to win too many games on KONGDOO.
Yeah, and Yujune actually not being one to play very much Olaf, to be perfectly honest. Was looking through his solo queue. Not a lot of Olaf in there either, so still going to be banned away, and he of course can still play it, but hasn't been recently, as Kai'Sa is just going to be taken off the board. KONGDOO don't want to deal with her, don't want to first pick her either. Is Morgana less of a priority as far as the ban list for Ever8 now?
Is it? Is the question that we're going to see, because
Well,
Kate Morgana in other regions is very high priority, and we will just see the Morgana banned anyway, so the global meta is starting to encroach on Korea in terms of the power of the Morgana. The cost is not irrelevant. Swain is available in this draft. Will be taken away by KONGDOO Monster.
Yeah, Roach could be playing that towards the top side edge as well. Roach is one to flex over onto a lot of these more AP-based top laners, so I like it.
One of the best picks in terms of Korean performance against the Swain has been the Taliyah, but was a blue side ban against Sun in this particular draft, so no Taliyah available to play around the Swain. I really like the Anivia against these Swain tanky compositions to use the wall to try to separate the tanks away from the carries, and both of them are taken away, so I'm excited to see what Sun will be taking in the mid lane when we get around to that. On the red side, no surprise to see more Ornn. A lot of picks today.
Yeah, well, we're going to pick that one up yet again, so Braum is going to be the lock-in here for Ever8.
Okay.
And Yujun very, very quickly locks in the Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix not in this meta really at all. A lot of criticism towards Insect on the side of Origin a couple of days ago, rolling out the Kha'Zix. That was a red side last pick into tanks, and we could see a lot of tanks on the side of Ever8.
Yep, and you've got the Gangplank once again for Roach, so that's going to be a confirmed mid lane Swain pickup. Not a lot of tankiness coming out of KONGDOO, so probably going to look to give Secret one of the more tanky options. Alistar would be brilliant in this composition to try and at least do some frontlining, but I have a feeling that's going to hit the ban list, as Sejuani is going to be the final pickup here for Ever8 winners.
And it was perhaps the least interactive Gangplank game we've ever seen in a victory. He really didn't do anything, wasn't ganked, his ultimates weren't really relevant for the majority of the game, but won anyway, and the barrels were looking good. When we're getting around that 40-minute mark, some hyper carries being banned away. The Kog'Maw taken out, which is, of course, Soul's spirit animal. The pick he has played so many times at LCK level, and the Caitlyn banned as well. I wonder if Ever8 will take the Jhin in this game, because it's a much squishier lineup on the side of KONGDOO. No true tank in their first 3 picks.
We'll see.
They have
Certainly
the Braum
we'll have
as well.
to choose something now, and we'll see where they are going to go. It makes more sense to give Sun the counter pick, I could imagine, although they already have all of the information. It's just the bottom lane from KONGDOO that needs to be locked in.
Will be low damage, unless they had a very high damage mid laner if they went the Jhin, but you're always tempted when you see Kha'Zix Gangplank on the enemy team. They're going to go Tristana anyway. Okay.
Wow.
Something different, a hyper carry. He's going to have a big front line, can reposition really, really well. With the Tristana, has been much lower priority in Korea than in other regions. Action on to KONGDOO, looking to round out their draft with the bot lane.
Yeah, Sol will see whether he's just going to lock in his champion, as the Jhin that you were talking about before is looking to go into their hands when they're up against a heck of a lot of tanks. So I can see you rolling your eyes just a little bit there, Papa, and I understand how you would feel, as the Alistar is going to be switched to immediately. That's the pick that I was expecting. Does make a lot of sense, but now Secret to think about whether or not they are going to actually just lock in the Jhin and make us confused.
It is a power pick for Sol as a champion. He's always been a Jhin player, but when you see Braum, you're already like, I don't know. And then you see 2 more tanks, and you're like, really don't know.
Yeah.
So do appreciate that he's visited somewhere else and gone towards the Ezreal.
Yep, the double Kleptomancy type lineup here for KONGDOO. And they've got a lot of burly champions, but not necessarily true tanks coming in for KONGDOO.
The nice thing is that Ezreal bridges the gap with the 2-item power spike, while Gangplank and Swain are still packing on the items. So
also flexibility with the item build as well as Sun. Thinking of rolling back the Malzahar once again, and it's perplexing.
Don't mind it into the Zoe, and you understand the theory into the Swain, but the theory in practice is so tricky to pull off, and they don't really have any damage from top or mid lane to make this a collapse, so it just feels like Swain's going to have a farm phase. Funny thing is, I think Swain might have actually found a champion he out-pushes in the mid lane, which never happens, but I think Swain does out-push Malzahar unless we get 2 AP items and 5 points in Q, which comes much later into the piece, so I'm really not a huge fan of the Malzahar unless they find a way to rotate through Swain.
Still a lot of questions here, and I feel like Swain also one of those champions that you barely even need to build a QSS.
No.
Because you're just too tanky.
You build a Zonias and you kind of just grin and bear it while you're still putting together items. We'll see if they actually start with the perfect timing and have the stopwatch from level 1. That will be a purchase later into the game Sun has been their hard carry. He's been the soul of the organization in many, many different ways. And for him to be going on to the Malzahar, once again role-playing a little bit, is a surprise to see.
Yeah, and Wufei once again going to roll back the same matchup towards the top side of the map. The Ornn had some good engages in the late stages of game number 1, but otherwise it was the Gangplank having a free laning phase. Yujun's going to be the real wild card as he tries to get around this jungle and affect what is going on in the enemy's side of the map. It is going to be Hoglet this time making his debut here at the Soli Stadium.
Yeah, KONGDOO jumping on the Ezreal, most played on the season, but not necessarily a massively winning pick. If Kha'Zix gets the lead, then KONGDOO Monster could be staring down a 2-0.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can actually make it happen. I do like a lot of the champion picks. I like the comfort across the board and the power, but can they make it work against the different roster of the Ever8 winners that they fielded right here? A lot of question marks, and we could have a very long night on our hands. More League of Legends, guys. Let's get into game 2. Alright, the KONGDOO fans finally getting some wind in their sails, as we heard from them just there.
I hear the voices of the cheerleaders on their side. I've met them a couple of times. They are part of the KONGDOO staff. They were over at IEM Katowice last year, the last IEM that League of Legends was played at. Hoping to see their team retain the LCK spot for the first time and end those streaks, Atlas. If Yujun wins, it's his first competitive win. If KONGDOO wins, it arrests a 15 best-of-3 losing streak. See if it can happen. As Ever8 winners, it's cheese time.
Yep, they're going to pop in, but Sol, good position. He's going to get hit by the Winter's Bite, and that means that he can't actually skill anything. Yeah, he's down to 200 health, 100 there underneath the turret. He holds on to the heal for so long, but Lucifer tanks it up, and they are going to be able to pick up the first blood. The cheese, the Gouda is out. As Ever8 winners get in there, they should be able to steal away this red buff as well.
Level 1 Braum, they didn't know where he was. They were hoping he wasn't invading, but this also does allow them to vertical jungle if they want. It also stops the chance of being invaded if you're the Sejuani at one of your buffs and dying if you take a traditional route. And speaking of invading, Hoglet likes a mid lane gank.
At level 2. With his blue buff, he's just going to wander past Edge though. Wants to find him with the Winter's Wrath, but doesn't get in there.
He doesn't like it that much. He didn't go Q as level 2.
Yeah. Well, you can see Hoglet, because he'd moved up there, it means that this Rift Scuttler is going to be denied from Yujun, who'd put a couple of autos in there.
He's going to 3-buff a Kha'Zix. That's the feels good man for the Sejuani.
Oh, hell yeah. And meaning that the Kha'Zix doesn't get a red buff is probably the biggest deal. Is wow, Wufei just down here as well, bothering him.
If he Q-sniped a Gromp, I think you might pack it up if you're Yujun.
Just go home.
Yep. Not your day in that world.
You ask for a pause and then just send Raze in. Just say, deal with my mess.
Raze like, this isn't Sejuani. What am I doing?
No, it's just your Arctic Assault is on your E. That's fine. Basically.
Oh, there's the pause.
There's the pause. Okay, so we are going to have a mid-game hot swap. It's not true. Absolutely not true. That's not allowed. It looks like it's over Ever8 winners' side.
You know, sometimes we ask for things and we get things. We're getting the confirmation. We don't have Joel on Discord today.
No.
He had better things to do. Feels bad.
Yeah.
But we do have the confirmation there's an audio issue.
Ah, the standard. It wouldn't be a day at the Soli Stadium without a bit of an audio issue. So as you can see on your screen right there, we are going to be sorting that one out, meaning that you get 7 hours per Patlist talking through a pause.
Oh, let's just let this one extend. I'm 30 minutes. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't make plans.
Just sit back. I mean, I did. There's the pro player over from Oceania. His name's Juice. He's here in the audience today. He's going to potentially have a drink with him afterwards, but it's not really that important. I think he probably needs to go to bed anyway. Just got off a plane.
We were at the Soli Stadium at 10:30 a.m. local time for rehearsal and makeup. It is currently 8 p.m. and we're still ready and hyped for League of Legends.
Super ready and super hyped.
When the resume comes in fast, and it does. All right, let's go.
Oh no, I was really setting up. We didn't even use all of our best content, Papa. This audio issue is just getting way too easy for these guys to sort it out. There's the Vision of Empire as a lot of damage comes down. There's the flash from Hoglet, answered by the flash coming in here from Edge. Just These popcorn chickens could actually be the problem as the never move comes
Got
down.
him.
And that's going to be that. 2 kills now for Ever8 winners.
Rolling through the mid lane, trivializing the Kazakhs. Already had a lot of tanks to deal with. Big problems for KONGDOO. Game's not over by any means, but this is the start that Ever8 winners were looking for. They can strive to force a game number 3.
Yeah. I mean, there was some skepticism in our faces once we learnt that Yujun was going to be subbing in. Just hasn't really found any of the victories here for KONGDOO Monster.
Raze may not have been our best jungler in Korea, but all the good news for the side of KONGDOO, especially at the start of the season, was about Raze. And he has played in every single of their game victories, let alone their couple of match victories. So bringing in Yujun when the job was still to be done, when relegation is still a possibility. If they lose this and the upcoming game number 3, should this game go the way of Ever8 winners, a surprise to see Yujun, level 3 Kazakhs, trying to make something happen.
Yeah, it is going to be Hoglet. He's round the area, but he's getting very, very low in his own jungle. The leap is going to be used actually just to get Yujun out of the way, and he probably wants to continue farming now. He's going to head back home. Only the first buy to come in. But Edge having to deal with a little bit of a 1v2 situation as the Swain in mid.
Sun very much wants to back, so he's getting a little bit of help there from Hoglet. Can teleport, no, cannot, as he's used both his summoners, so we'll have to walk back to lane, and that's why he does draw his jungler's attention to push the lane.
Yep. A little bit amusing, given the fact that we do have the double Kleptomancy coming in here for KONGDOO. It's only 1,000 gold the lead, even though Ever8 did have a pretty devastating start. And we've got CS leads in 2 of the lanes, as well as some jungle lead here with a camp in the lead for Hoglet.
Been more than a hot minute since we've seen Ezreal on patch 8.6. Hasn't been prized like he was so frequently on other patches. Kai'Sa's introduction has messed with the tier list a little bit. Was the reaction, and also a late round pick where they'd already gone for quite a bit of scaling on their side. And I do appreciate visiting the Ezreal for some more mid-game power. However, the early game, the level 1, may undo what was on paper a pretty solid choice.
Yeah, and Ever8 winners, I think the last time we saw Ezreal as far as today was in the ban list against Pilot in their first series. So it'll be the last time we saw his face at least. So at least Ever8 winners understand that Ezreal's still relevant at the moment. Edge wanting to try and claw his way back in here to this lane, but never actually fell behind in farm because we already mentioned the fact that the laning phase at very early levels for Malzahar is not super great.
Pretty insane to see Sejuani pushing and invading around jungle pressure against the Kazakhs, but that's how this game has gone and been well expanded on by Hoglet, who we should mention has sat down the back the entire night looking for a chance to play, so has had plenty of information. He put it together. It's the 4th game KONGDOO has played. Not as relevant when Yujun comes in, but he's just trying to be aggressive. You know, maybe Kuma's mindset had been shattered by a couple of consecutive losses, and so far so good for Hoglet.
Yeah, and Hoglet now going to be able to take away this Raptor camp potentially. Still, we have the wraparound coming in. Sun's going to get the first rotation over as the smite goes the way of Hoglet, and he's just pressuring away Yujun. So much experience in gold is in that Raptor camp, so not one that Yujun wanted to lose. And they're going to continue to invade this one. Look at all of the vision that they have down. Thankfully, that is going to be answered here as the red buff is going to spawn, and Soul's going to move his way over.
One-man invade now complemented by Lucifer. Soul and Yujin here to contest. Could see a smite battle.
Yep, Secret is going to come in here as well as there's the flash in. Double pulverize is good as Soul. Over to the side, great
Edge.
Positioning as Yujin's going to come down. It's Secret that grabs that kill as now Demonic Ascension is going to be able to pick up the kill against Sun. Is he going to have it? There's the last auto, and Edge grabs the kill. KONGDOO answering back beautifully to the over-aggression of Ever8 winners.
What's the value in a ward? A solo queue player will often ask. That ward onto their red allowed the engage. Beautifully pulled off by Secret. Edge also roaming down. This is beautifully put together. Massive cannon barrage value. Ticks down forever and ever. Lucifer may not die, but excellently done by Edge as well. Plays around his ranges. Waits, realizes he's going to have the ability to catch up. A last auto attack follows. Beautifully engineered by KONGDOO Monster. And some normalcy in this early game as they bail out the level 1 shenanigans.
Yeah, as well as the fact that Edge holds onto his flash throughout that as well. So wants to wait until his Demonic Ascension is back up again and he can play super aggressively against Sun as the Hexa Flash coming in on the bottom side. Seeing a lot more of this Hexa Flash action. I'm a massive fan, but I play Leona instead of the Alistar.
Seen very little of it in the LCK, the Hextech Flash Traption, or Hexa Flash as we can often call it for short. The big play from Lehens on the Alistar in our second series was through a Hex Flash, as he had Flash available almost entirely afterwards. Roach piecing together most of a Trinity Force.
Yeah, doing okay. He's going to eat some oranges up here towards the top side, even though he is currently playing the wind-up gangplank, so he doesn't get a lot of value considering the fact that he's made of metal. Yujun setting up. Edge didn't want to use the Vision of Empire to take the blue buff, which is definitely the easy way of doing it.
Speaking of taking things, Ever8 just turn on to the Mountain Drake. We know the facilitation for the blue buff top side was the big thing happening for KONGDOO, so they're not going to be there to contest.
The True Shot Barrage is actually going to fly in. Hoglet gets a lot of his health bar taken down, but thankfully Smite is there to keep him healthy. See, the lane's actually reaching a lot of parity for KONGDOO Monster, despite the fact that the early game was a bit of a horror.
Getting a kill, and some more gold onto Edge allows him to start to walk up. And we mentioned that there probably should be some degree of lane priority for the mid lane Swain. Haven't seen so much Swain, a lot of bans going his way, but the flexibility and general strong laning is the reason we see it a lot. In mid lane, there are many champions that outpush Swain, but I wouldn't really say Malzahar was one of them. Malzahar's pushing is quite slow until he can actually queue the backline and kill it, which is much later into the piece with all the AP nerfs.
Yeah.
That means that Swain has a pretty happy time in the laning phase for once.
Well, right now, we'll see what Edge is going to build into, whether it's going to be Rod of Ages. Has actually delayed that item if it is going to be the one that picks up by grabbing Merc Treads very early on. The Vampire here just to annoy Sun, but he holds on to his passive, so everything's okay. Yujun moving down towards the bottom side. Once his Warrior Enchant completed, may actually go back and just grab it right now for as much of a spike in power as he can find.
Metric ton of CC on the side of Ever8 winners, so that he might not even be able to press his ult during a CC lockdown, and that means that he won't be able to lifesteal back. So given that, probably smart to go the Merc Treads. It's going to come in at some point, and always the chance that a few people rock up in mid lane and try to take you down.
Well, Yujun is going to complete that Warrior Enchant, so it does have a bit of extra damage now that he can offer in. Lucifer not going to invest the Unbreakable, happy just to tank up a True Shot Barrage. Soul, going to go back home. We'll see what he can actually complete here as the Manamune is actually completely done. So that is great news. It's not behind by too much gold either, as it's only about 200 in it, given the Kleptomancy is helping out. 2 kills, and the Klepto you mentioned means there's a slight gold lead for KONGDOO. Waiting to see what the Sheen option is for Ezreal. Could be Iceborne Gauntlet this game, as he has quite a lot of damage on his team. The control might be incentivized. Maybe going for the double Trinity Force power spike to come in from Roach as well, as there's another Vision of Empire just to give, as its name would say, some vision where Hoglet is. I'm going to be able to grab that, and thankfully for Yujun, he is in a position where he can get himself around the map now and isn't just getting hunted by a Sejuani, which is a big problem. As soon as that is happening, looking for a gank towards topside. Nope, just going to finish off the Rift Scuttler. Vision is available for Wufei. Roach having a better and better time up here as the Trinity Force gets closer and closer. Should probably use some of his Corrupting Potion stacks. He had 3 and only used the first now when he fell below half health. But GP already had a sick ultimate in that previous fight where KONGDOO was able to pick up 2 kills, and zone control of GP ult and the Demonic Ascension is roughly an entire width of a laning phase. Just ludicrous. And being able to slow them down is just super relevant anyway, so Cannon Barrage, even if it doesn't do any damage, is still very, very useful when you've got Edge there. If they can get the double flanks utilizing both the zoning Cannon Barrage and the position of Edge, will mean that they'll have a heck of a lot of control for KONGDOO Monster. It could force the players out of position here for Ever8 winners, meaning that the Kha'Zix might remain more relevant than he has been in other compositions. There are ways to make Kha'Zix work even when it seems like the enemy team is loaded with tanks. I remember Ambition playing some great Kha'Zix where it was about putting down control wards and scouting rather than necessarily any sort of team fight. Yep, dancing through the jungle. First evolution, interesting. Didn't actually see him going invisible there, which was odd. He does have the R evolve first, in case you were wondering. Yeah, it was a bit perplexing there. Just saw him walk into the brush. I'm like, go invisible, please? Our observer's skillfully avoiding showing you it. Yeah. Keep that
doubt, but I saw it before. He definitely has
Thank
it.
goodness. Thanks, Papa. Well, Soul and Secret just going to clean up these minions. Yujun, he's hanging down here towards the bottom side as Ever8 winners, they want nothing to do with it. Got a lot of a lead. Static Shiv is now done for Hybrid. He has that pushing option to try and get towards that bottom.
Changes it, actually. Moves over to the rapid fire cannon after the nerfs.
Yeah.
Static Shiv took a pretty big nerf. That's a nice casual steal.
That's one hell of a steal.
He didn't even have
Soul.
vision, I don't believe. There's no wards in the area.
No, it's just scouting.
Well, that feels good.
All too easy.
Soul has been a great player in the past. I don't think he had a great spring season, but he had a lot of people on his team also that were having a bit of a mare, so very nice little confidence booster when they're already 1-0 up coming through for Soul.
Oh yeah. Remnant Equinox is going to be completed here for Secret. He's going to go back. It's just the Lucidity boots to come in from Soul.
Pretty epic battle between the Rift Herald and the Pig Rider, but it will be Sejuani picking up the Rift Herald.
Nice work. A little bit cheating when it's a 2 versus 1. Bristle does a bit of the work there as well.
Seems like Edge felt the need to go down the Abyssal Mask route. Doesn't really amp any magic damage on his team. The True Shot Barrage, the Cannon Barrage, the Barrages, I guess, duo will be amped up by that. But
Essence Flux as well, Papa Smithy. Don't forget the big damage of Essence Flux.
one of the champions that doesn't really get nerfed by the radius because you spent so much time less than 350 units away from the enemy.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Also, he's going to have Secret there for all of the CC. I think his ability to actually get up close and personal will certainly be there. Still looking at this Kha'Zix to try and find some relevance. Does have a couple of assists to his name. Hasn't died just yet and is farming out very nicely as the game moves forward. We do have an Infernal Drake as Dragon number 2. That mountain already taken by Ever8 winners. You can see KONGDOO setting themselves up to try and get themselves in position to take this one down that has just spawned.
It's going to be a double Trinity Force. Soul's been in lane a long time, sitting on these items.
Yeah.
Happy to just push forward. Wants his next back to be Iceborne Gauntlet Trinity Force situationally. Continues to keep the lane in the middle. Do remember that Tristana, champion we haven't had to talk about much recently, who's at 3 items able to recreate the sort of power that we don't often see in 80 carries. Since so much 3-item Caitlyn, 3-item Tristana, a different predicament.
Yeah. Dangerous one as well as Yujun. Setting up, looking for Hoglet here. Gets himself invisible. Wanders over. Keeping this is running. It is going to be able to take down this ward. Hoglet moves up to the Infernal Drake. So still, a lot of play towards this river on the bottom side of the map. No one finding any success just yet.
Map presence is pretty even, so you look at the scalings of the teams and say, well, who does this benefit? And to both teams to different degrees. As Ever8 winners, a Tristana team fight with big tanks, usually a recipe for success. The Kha'Zix you look at, and you shake your finger a bit, is speaking of Kha'Zix.
Yep, manages to jump in, and the Tristana's just straight up dead. No! Able to flash his way out. Unbreakable's perfect as well. And there it is. Secret grabs it with the Ignite. Thank goodness that was available. Another assist to the Gangplank as well, which is a disaster for Ever8 winners after their brilliant start to this game. 3 creeps is going to give KONGDOO some damage on this outer turret on the bottom side. But they're pulling some of these ganks out of nowhere, and it's looking great for KONGDOO.
Oh, but it was literally out of nowhere. It was, look at the control wards in both the triangle brush and the lane brush. This was very well set up, and with that in hindsight, Hybrid is too far up with no control of the bot side against the Cannon Barrage and the Kha'Zix. It was out of nowhere, but that nowhere was of the construction of KONGDOO mods.
Yeah, well-constructed nowhere. Absolutely brilliant. They are going to be able to grab the objective afterwards as well. It wasn't the turret like we thought they were looking for. It is going to be the Infernal Drake being taken down. And now, what are we going to get? Iceborne Gauntlet coming in from Soul. So more of the defensive option, but a really strong, I guess, power play as far as getting that 2-item spike and making sure that you can then control the game from that point on.
They're very much ready to fight now. They have a lot of power. Trinity Force, a couple of long swords and a warrior is a good start. And 2-item Ezreal. They've lost their mid lane turret. They're still in standard lanes with the Ezreal. It's not ideal. Haven't been able to end the lane versus Kingzone Dragon Axe is so good at doing around this point in the game. That was a good moment from KONGDOO. They got something with the Kha'Zix deciding the chase. See, the Soul is going to become a thorn until Hybrid has the ability to just ignore him and with the Infinity Edge turn around and let it rip.
Yep. 30% CDR as well onto Soul, so now that that Iceborne Gauntlet is completed, certainly booking it. Get around, that Mystic Shot always going to be available as Edge has to throw down the Demonic Ascension. He gets stunned up, but now Hoglet could have the damage turned onto him. Vision of Empire means that Lucifer has to get his way out of there as Nethergrass flashed out of by Sun. Too dangerous as Hybrid can't get onto Yujun. Wufei teleporting in but can't get the work done, and Unbreakable Will from Secret keeping him alive for a long time, but it's not long enough. Hybrid grabs that, gets the resets, and now Edge has to use his timepiece. And Wufei, Soul is going to get knocked up, and this is Ever8's fight. Absolutely fantastic stuff, but KONGDOO letting it slip a little bit here in the mid-game.
Ever8 able to use the teleport, and they have the better proactive teleport play with the Ornn compared to the Gangplank that teleported in and was setting up some of the barrels. I assume Ultimate wasn't available, but if it wasn't used by Roach in that entire fight. Well executed by Ever8. And the moment that they teleport into the backline, it's so much more threatening than if that play is attempted by KONGDOO.
Well, True Shot Barrage not going to be able to clear up this one, and Soul, he's in a whole host of trouble. Cannon Barrage does come in, and Soul actually wanting to try and get more back on top of this. They do take down the turret very easily. Not going to be able to get the kill on the Ezreal, though, to follow it up.
Mid lane.
Yep, Yujun going to get his rotation down onto Sun, just stop him from backing.
It seems like the interrupt was far more likely there, over half health, and no true snowball, only some assist the way of Yujun. Watch the replay to understand this. Cannon Barrage is available the entire time. Notice that Roach doesn't use it. That's a little bit of a flub. There were plenty of times to try to use it in this fight. For example, when Malzahar rooted himself, but wasn't used. The teleports come in, and then you're comparing a zone control initiating tank to Roach, who teleports in, can't really do anything. Felt like KONGDOO Monster had a lot more to their name they could have used. They didn't. Does deserve to lose a couple of members. Better played by Ever8 winners.
Yeah, Roach not using the ultimate there was very, very strange, especially when they were in that choke point towards the end. Would have meant that a couple of those kills wouldn't have happened. But hindsight, it's 2020. Secret's going to move on over. This control ward is going to be taken out here by a Hybrid. Soul up towards the top side. We'll have to answer, and now Ever8 got it back to complete gold parity. Double Klepto means that that's why KONGDOO are still within touching distance.
If there's going to be the same build from Kha'Zix we saw before, which would be the nerfed version of the Duskblade. Duskblade does clear wards very fast now, which is a pretty cool interaction, and not spotted as Yujun.
Yep. Clear out the ward, though. Is discovered towards the end. Not enough new brushes to be able to keep him invisible.
What a hard life.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, Call of the Forge God onto Edge. He's going to get the knock up towards the end as Nethergrass comes down. Can they actually secure the kill, though? Yes, they are. Just get underneath that turret, and Wufei, he's tanky enough to secure it. Okay, trying to get damage onto this inner, but run out of minions. KONGDOO Monster show up in the nick of time.
Minion wave large dead, and we saw the rocket jump in to make that happen from Hybrid so quickly. He did not have the ability to get all the hits and reset the rocket jump cooldown with the explosive charge, so we back away. Nice little pick. No gold lead still because of Kleptomancy between the two teams. If anything, KONGDOO Monster ahead because of their Infernal.
Yep, Edge pretty upset as well because he had a broken stopwatch and now has his Zhonya's Hourglass completed as he is in the Death Chamber. 1-3-1, another Swain did not have the performance that we expect from him as this coveted pick, the LCK especially. Rylai's Crystal Scepter is done for Sun as well as a needlessly large rod on top of it. Luden's Echo was the item that he went for first though, Papa, which is an interesting one.
No Archangels this time. Not much backline threat from the enemy team outside of Kha'Zix during the laning phase, so going for the extra damage, trying to puncture through the very, very tanky Swain. Does mean that Kha'Zix, Gangplank, and Ezreal all pretty concerned about being burst down.
Yep. But all of them do a lot of damage to the Malzahar as well. He's very squishy given that rush.
And there are oranges and QSSs, but all we're saying is the damage should stick from the Malzahar.
Starting to get scary. Yujun continuing to farm things up, trying to find the items that he wants, get the damage in there, clinging onto relevance here as we move ever so slightly closer towards the late game. Stopwatch still sitting there in the inventory for Soul. Did take that.
Seems to be waiting for the best moment. I wonder what that will represent. Maybe a big outplay. Speaking of outplays,
there's the Zhonya's going to dodge the ultimate out from Hoglet here as the Cannon Barrage is way too early this time. Roach His R button timings have been off no matter which side of the equation you're on.
One of the better picks for him. Played it well in the previous game as Wu-Fei's around the side.
Yeah, he's going to come in, but we do have Hoglet taking a lot of damage. He can't do the work that he wants. Blast Cone really mixing up this fight right now, but it's Ever8 winners that are losing the health bar. Secret might be losing his life, though, as it's Sun that grabs that one. Soul going to get slowed down by the Rylai's now as he's moving ever closer back towards his base, but the flash forward doesn't find the never move. Does Edge and now might be out of position. Good double knockup comes in, but Hoglet always in trouble. True Shot Barrage doesn't find him though, as Yujun has to flash to get his way out. And there's the Nether Grasp. They have it back off cooldown yet again. And look at this, 5 members are so incredibly low, and Soul maybe biting off more than he can chew. Unbreakable is a busted ability. A really great cleanse to come in from Soul with the QSS as Lucifer. He's in trouble. Soul needs one more auto attack. Doesn't find the Mystic Shot as now Lucifer's taking the auto attack damage. Okay, Sun's over to the side, and meanwhile above that, you've got KONGDOO Monster now milling about this dragon. That was a ridiculous fight.
The Yakety Sax at the end was so amusing. The Voidlings were slowing the Ezreal, who just needed to auto-attack once. They finally pick up the Infernal. Everyone on blinking health bars on the side of Ever8 winners. Eventually pumped a Soul to go in, and a hop, skip, and a jump later, they do get the kills.
Oh, let's have a look at it again though, Papa, because I think we need to. This was a long one.
This is a really interesting one, because the Blast Plan actually launches Ever8 back into this fight and extends it for a while. And then you see the ultra respect for Edge. He doesn't actually have that much damage onto the Swain. He went Zonia's and also the Abyssal Mask. Flashes in for the never move onto Lucifer after the ult had ran out. And when these health bars were low, you were waiting for Soul to take it over, or Yujun. Yujun instantly cannot be at the front. And it ends up being one person too far up for the majority of the fight. You see the Malefic Visions goes on to Edge, but he's able to live through it. Soul opens up space. Sun tries to come in, doesn't respect the QSS being there. And then it almost was an easy kill. Soul gets slowed by the Rylai's that does apply. Right at the end, Lucifer dies to the minions. What a fiesta, but the Infernal on the back end vindicates it for KONGDOO.
Yeah, well, Yujun is going to come in, clear out some vision on the top side of the map as we reset after all the craziness. And if we have a look at the items, we've got a needlessly large rod for Edge. He's not going to be ignorable for much longer. And there's the Duskblade of Drakthar, sort of course, changed on 8.6, but he can now one-shot these wards as Yujun can get around. And you were talking about Ambition's ability to control vision with the Kha'Zix, and will now be an option here for Yujun as well.
I think KONGDOO Monster need to pinch themselves and really work on just some simple things they haven't been doing. We talked about the Cannon Barrage and Roach's Play. Edge had 5 stacks of Demon Flare ready to go for the majority of that fight. Didn't flash, and then his ult runs out and he flashes for a never move skill shot onto a tank. It was very strange decision making. So far they've kind of been desynced, and that's what happens sometimes when you change one of your roster. Looking at the damage numbers, big damage for Ezreal. Would have wanted a little bit more, and that would have represented a couple more kills.
Yeah, Malefic Vision's doing a lot of work there as well, as Sun topping the damage as far as everybody else, and he's got an extra really big rod. 3 items though for the Tristana is fantastic news here for Ever8 winners. Do certainly have the scaling advantage as far as that 80 carry roll is concerned. See Yujun wanting to capitalize on that one. Back's coming in though, as Ever8 winners don't want to overextend.
Double Infernal and Kha'Zix at 2 items means that while he may not be puncturing tanks, he's doing some damage.
And I like that the final dragons that we have are Earth, Wind, and Fire as well as we move to the end of the day.
Hey, this could definitely go to a game number 3.
Yeah, or we could be here until September, maybe. Oh, maybe people don't all understand the reference. Never mind. You're right. It is certainly... could be a long one. KONGDOO Monster now continuing to push forward. 400 gold. Absolutely nothing in it. And now there's a really sweet hat on the floaty man in the mid lane for Ever8 winners.
Love to get on to someone who doesn't get out of his ult, but that's just the Kha'Zix, who at this point will be one shot if he gets hit by a Malefic Visions into an ultimate.
Yep.
He's super squishy, and Sun has a lot of AP. That's a pretty simple equation. No Blade the Ruin King just yet for KONGDOO Monster. You just see in these fights that sort of fights that Soul can really carry, that if we see more value of the gangplank, there are still fights that KONGDOO Monster can win, because only now has Hybrid crested 3 items. Tristana definitely less strong than before. The Static Shiv and the Rapid Fire Cannon have all been toned down along with the Tristana. Tristana is about to get rolling in a big way, and she's got paperweights in front of her. Certainly no tanks.
Yeah, it's going to be really scary, unless you can get Yujin into a position where he could potentially try and assassinate Hybrid, who's out of position. But Hybrid has been playing well as far as getting himself into the spots that he needs to be. Blade of the Ruin King is going to be the third big item to come in for Seoul. Should have that one relatively soon. Yujin getting himself over, trying to get vision down where he can find it, but now has to sneak his way forward. Speaking of going forward, in they go. Cannon Barrage once again very, very early as Roach moves himself back, but there's the Call of the Forge God doing a heap of work, but they can't really capitalize due to the fact that the Cannon Barrage was there, zoning everyone out of the way. A big knockback now for Secret, who gets stunned, but he's done the work. Hoglet has to try and run away, and everyone's scattering. Vision of Empire is going to be a problem, and Edge grabs himself another kill. KONGDOO should be able to go to Baron and really start to turn this game on for themselves.
The last person you expected to be camping that brush was the Gangplank, but the Unseen Pirate was the deadliest. Gets the chain link barrel into the ultimate. Everyone's DPS'd out, they chase for more kills, and this is going to be Baron to KONGDOO.
Yeah, and Tristana's doing that thing where you've had a decent game as the AD carry, but everything's gone wrong with the rest of your team. He's split pushing on the bottom side. The Gangplank could be the option, and there is the smite onto the Baron. The trade is going to be in a turret on the bot side, but that's just not quite enough here for Ever8 winners.
Yeah, the chain link barrel into auto attack, then ultimate. Sun is out of the fight instantly, super, super low. The ultimate hits multiple people. Soul's not grouped, so they can't actually profit off the kills early. But there's so much zoning as Edge can use his ultimate so late that there's no health bars for Ever8 to push through it or work through it. They use everything to flash onto the jungler to take him down. Nicely done by Edge this time on the Swain. They get the Baron. KONGDOO Monster, they're at their strongest spawn in the game. 3 items onto the Ezreal, the Baron buff. Everything's loaded up, and now a death cap means the Swain cannot be ignored.
Yeah, the Swain is ridiculous. And speaking of 3 items, they also have the Ghost Blade built up. You've got a QSS on Yujun as well, of all things, to continue what is a massive power spike here for KONGDOO Monster. Now needing to make their way towards the last couple of remaining outer turrets that they can grab. In fact, all of them are still up. KONGDOO yet to take a tower. Therefore, there is so much standing gold on this map to really make this Baron buff do some work.
And take the gold lead as well, which, because of Kleptomancy, is slight, but no more than that. 1,500 gold or so. Gangplank going to be slowed down on the top side. Has the Yomus, so has gone for this kind of old school build where you don't die fast, but you don't do quite the damage of the Essence Reaver, i.e. that Talon and our other top laners have preferred on the Gangplank. And sidestep CC very well with the Yomu's movement speed as well.
Yujin going to be able to solo out this Cloud Drake, making it 3 here for KONGDOO. Outer turret in the mid lane going to be the first one.
KONGDOO's Kingdom for a turret.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not going to happen here.
Not sure where the health bar is in bot lane.
There it is.
First turret of the game rolls down. This is healthy, as you might have expected, as Ezreal Alistar, while being a very good makeshift lane, isn't able to dominate by any means. Second turret rolls down. The gold lead grows a little bit. This Baron buff power play was set up to be close to double-digit Atlas, because there was so much left on the map to pick up that the easy objectives will roll down, and there's the potential for even more.
Yep, and now we've got that mid lane outer turret falling as well. You can see Ever8, they really did want to try and defend that one for as long as possible, but just not the case, as the entire outer ring is going to even out that turret count.
Really?
Yujin.
Only Yujin. All right, Soul. Soul is going for the laning phase on the Ezreal. I guess Scorch was the pickup. Very weird to see.
Yep, it's an odd one. Maybe he had ultimate hack because he really likes True Shot Barrage.
I mean, he did steal away a red buff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And he wants to shoot it. Oh my god, in goes Secret as well. As Hybrid's going to pop back. Cannon Barrage in there as well, but Hybrid is going to survive for the moment. They do still have a cannon here, smacking down on the inner turret, but man, they're getting hyphy on the side of KONGDOO.
You'll take this because now he's gone for quite a while, so you'll definitely get this inner turret. I think the trade of summoners there, wonderful for the side of KONGDOO Monsters. The Tristana only now getting back. No Bannon to really push this over the edge.
And theoretically, Secret, he's still got the flash available as well, because Hex Flash is, of course, taken, so if he sits over a wall or something like that, can certainly get himself still in there.
I mean, that would be fool me once, fool me 18th time for today, as Hextech Flash on the Alistar has been the meta so far today.
It has. I like it.
I do like how earlier in the day you mentioned the one-day meta, as that very often does evolve when we have so many games.
Yeah.
Our 8th of the day.
Might be our final as well if KONGDOO Can close this one out. 5,000 gold being the lead means that Ever8 still can just try and sit back, get their Tristana to late game. I can attack, move, and kill your whole team status, but might be hard as KONGDOO have got themselves into a good position.
And it's that awkward game for a Tristana where she's like, I got my items, feeling great, but because there's so many threats on the side of KONGDOO, your positioning has to change pretty damn quickly. You might be very itchy on the trigger finger to rocket jump out because you get hit by a parlay for, let's say, a quarter of your health, and then you rocket jump out, and then maybe the team fight's already one down. It's actually tricky to work out your precise timings compared to, you know, frontline versus frontline. I'm Tristana, I'm just hitting their frontline harder than the enemy AD carry can. And so far, Hybrid has been definitely less of a weapon to be wielded than you expect for most now 4-item Tristanas.
Yeah, it does have the Bloodthirster completed, like you're talking about, so the items certainly are in there for the Trist, but I like what you illustrate, and it does mean that this Kha'Zix is feeling like it's not the silly choice that some Kha'Zix are made to look like.
Definitely for the scenario where he was a bit hopeful going for a first round on red side Kha'Zix and then was answered by a lot of tanks, it could be a lot worse. He could still just die incidentally and they could lose the game, but you're right, it hasn't been a burden on the team that a lot of Kha'Zix can be in a scenario like this.
Yeah. And if we remember, you know, it was Umpty that was able to make the Kha'Zix work in that 94-minute game as well, so you can't say that he's completely useless in the late game. As Edge, he's going to get taken down very low. Demonic Ascension is still going to be here. Massive re-engage. Comes in from Secret as well as Yujun. Jumps over the side. Roach is in there just auto-attacking the Malzahar as Hybrid can't get amongst this fight whatsoever. Edge held onto that ult for so incredibly long. Capitalized on it with the rest of his team. Ever8 winners looking like it was desperation in that fight.
They got so desperate for a kill, they thought they could kill Swain, but he's outrageously tanky and has QSS. Remember, it's Merktread's QSS and Abyssal Mask, and Malzahar's damage is not what you pick him for. And the assassination on the back end as Sun was jumped on by the Kha'Zix and the GP. They're going to lose a turret here. They might lose an inhibitor.
Yep. This inhibitor turret's certainly going to go down as Hybrid. He gets slowed and then has to rocket jump to get himself out of the way. So now no flash, no rocket jump, no ability to get up towards this inhibitor. And KONGDOO Monster are going to break open the base here and create a 10,000 gold lead. It's looking like a 2-0 for KONGDOO Monster. When was the last time we got to talk about that? A hell of a long time ago, Papa Smithy.
It's been a long road getting from there to here. This would be their first best-of-3 win in 16, but watch what happens on the back after the attempt is botched on the kill. Sun tries to flash away. He gets double flashed on and dies instantly, such as Malzahar. Never going to be keeling Edge. Good try, Wufei. Not going to happen. Ever8 winners had a nice draft. It seemed like perhaps this would be their window back into the series. Remember, they started off with that smart double kill and the nice invade. But that's seeming like a long time ago. Roach now has 4.5 items, and maybe, just maybe, KONGDOO Monster will be fighting for their spot on Sunday.
Yeah, and I don't think Roach is going to be getting the Gangplank once again, because it feels like that is the Roach champion. He's able to make that one work when he gets it. And he's having 2 games in a row. The Gangplank looks good, even though the first one was pretty non-interactive. Certainly got things done towards the end.
Feels so bad to build a Last Whisper in this game when you're Hybrid, because you look at the enemy team and you say, it's kind of just Swain who's got the armor going on.
Yeah.
No one else, but he's not able to auto anyone else, and that's kind of his struggle. I still think that the Last Whisper is the wrong choice in this game. Maybe even a triple Zeal item going in somewhere different, but Last Whisper gets very low value against KONGDOO's team.
Yeah, I still think Mercurial Scimitar could have been a better choice.
Yeah, sure.
Try and get out of the way of any never moves that come in, but I guess the hard CC
He wants
really
to do more damage, and he thinks that Last was better than Pickaxe, but kind of line ball on that one, Atlas.
Yeah. So too, Hoglet looking to make it a 50-50, as we do have the solo from Roach on the Elder Drake. That's an odd one. Do you have enough oranges there to keep you alive? KONGDOO Monster trying to have their cake and eating it too. They peel off the Baron.
They're wondering where Gangplank is, thinking there might be a chain link barrel coming out of the nearest brush. We know that he's having an ill-advised battle.
Soloing the Elder Drake and then failing to do so and moving back towards that. That's a lot of crits out of that barrel to take down the minion wave.
Turns to lane, teleport up on Roach and down on Wufei, but Hybrid is just saying, well, I'm going to push through mid, see what you're going to do, because we have Scuttle Vision, a lot of things happening at the same time.
Yeah, it's base races with solos coming in from everywhere.
It's gonna be a 4v4.
Gets himself to a good position, but the Glacial Fissure isn't in a great one. As Cannon Barrage now going to wear off as far as its usefulness. Yujun moves over to the side, and Wufei is going to get rid of the Pirate. And therefore, the pressure that KONGDOO Monster had is now evaporated. And Ever8 winners move themselves over to the Baron.
It was a nice macro move. Because they had the Scuttle Vision, they felt confident in having Hybrid push through mid, getting an inner turret against the super minions, and knowing that Orin could interrupt the teleport if Gangplank ever came. When it comes to hard engage, the Gangplank ultimate not long enough for a slow for Secret to get in there, so we back away. It just kited for a while. Nodi did not use his Demonic Ascension in that fight.
Yep, Wufei as well doesn't have the teleport, so now KONGDOO Monster once again have the control, given the fact that the Ornn is towards the bottom side of the map. That tower very, very low. It'll regen, but it'll regen slowly. Ever8 winners now find themselves on the back foot.
Once again, Wufei will be drawn up. He will have his flash in about a minute, but this Baron certainly won't take a minute to go down.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of damage coming in. 3 damage dealers here in the pit as there's the True Shot Barrage. They
50-50?
are still looking for a 50-50, but no, not going to happen. Secret gets over with a big Pulverize. He's going to sacrifice himself to guarantee the Baron buff onto 4 members. They are going to do so. Now the pings are out onto the Elder Drake. KONGDOO understanding that Ever8 should just go there and grab the objective while they can.
Gives up his life to get the interruption. Worth, given the fact that he was already quite low, but you do point out the Elder. They're going to contest it 4v5.
Yep, teleport is going to come in, and you were talking about Demonic Ascension. Edge still has that one available. He's going to be scooching over here as Soul gets his way through. Yujun not able to steal it, as Hoglet's going to lock that one down, and now it could be the re-engage that Ever8 wanted. Cannon Barrage, great position for the disengage. And Ever8 winners have to leave.
Roach is waiting for the late game positioning, but he got it this time. Very nice.
He's got his
on the
eye
Gangplank
in.
ult.
How long has it been? 40 minutes into the game, and now he's figured it out.
Yujun had his flash, so could go for the 50-50 and get out alive. Would have loved to amp up those Infernal Drakes, potentially to 100% if there was a second Elder Dragon claimed by KONGDOO. If that is to happen, it will be a very, very long game as Ever8 winners, against the map control that has been KONGDOO's the past 15 minutes or so, do pick up a big neutral.
Yeah. Lucifer has augmented his Locket of the Iron Solari as well, so he's got the big one. Certainly great. The Abyssal Mask there as well for Wufei has been sorted out for him, as there's another red buff being picked up by Soul, I believe.
Should mention it was more than a 50-50 as Hoglet has been under-leveled. He's actually 3 levels under the Kha'Zix, who had the full damage onto the Smite. Hoglet has given up his camps this game. He's actually been Flame Horizoned by the enemy jungler.
It's pretty ridiculous. And 2-0 and 8 for Yujun as well, just quietly on the Kha'Zix.
Speaking of Flame Horizons, Malzahar close to his own.
Yep.
May have happened earlier, wasn't looking to them.
Edge not too worried about that though, because theoretically he doesn't actually have any room for any other items. Mercurial Scimitar not going to really give him too much. The QSS is augmented. He might actually sell it if he does have enough for another full big item. Potentially the Leandri's Torment to come in, but Hybrid's going to come down and look for Roach. See whether the 1v1 can actually come in. The barrel for massive damage. The flash on from Roach will mean that he's going to die, and Hybrid takes out the 1v1.
6 items on the Hybrid and the Molten Edge, enough to win the 1v1. Doesn't matter if he has Phantom Dancer and Asterix Gauge, he still will die to a level 18 Tristana. Yujun around their edge, but was amped up damage as well. The true damage burning. No way out for Roach. Hybrid did have to use both his summoners, though.
Oh, face checks, though, as Yujun. He's going to do a lot of damage. There it is! And he's not going to die. Gets his way out. Does have the Ghost Blade there as well to make sure that that's guaranteed, and they lose the 80 carry. This could be huge for KONGDOO.
And that's just straight up mistake from Hybrid. He has a massive death time of 1 minute from now. He makes that play when his summoners are down, when his ult is down. Didn't need to be checking the river. There was nothing there for him to pick up. Ends up picking up a death for his team, and no AD carry in this meta usually has grave consequences.
Yeah, just ridiculous stuff. Roach, I believe if he had the Mortal Reminder, would have been certainly an option as far as killing Hybrid, but he had too much lifesteal in that 1v1, which was the big problem.
Yujun still looking for that first game win, for that oh-so-sweet qualification. The best of 5 on Sunday. Still have to fight if they're going to make it through to the next round if they win this game, but it would be an Ever8 elimination. LCK Summer and back to Challenger from them if they lose.
Yep, and now we've got a re-engage coming in here from Secret. Wufei has to get himself out of there as the Cannon Barrage means that Ever8 winners will have to give up. This inhibitor, oh god, the True Shot Barrage doing a lot of work, but thankfully Wufei was just tanky enough. Minion Wave's not in the right position here for KONGDOO though, as they move on over. Trying to clear out vision in the enemy jungle. Bottom lane, I think, is slow pushing towards Ever8 winner's side of the map for KONGDOO, though. So they can just move here top, try and get the transition.
No Monster backing away for now. No big neutrals on the map. No Baron for a while. The second Elder not spawning either.
Just a little bit of respite here for these guys. Guardian Angel is done for Yujun. See whether he can finish 6 items relatively soon. Only man on the map that hasn't died. Which is very impressive.
On a Kha'Zix.
On a Kha'Zix.
He also has 11 out of 12 kill participation, which, again, on Kha'Zix, pretty good.
Yeah. And it's not often that we get an opportunity to talk about Yujun doing stuff that's good.
Let's praise it while we can.
Exactly right. I feel like that's why the crowd was going a little bit crazy there before.
Probably something the Korean caster said. We missed it, sadly.
So. Might have been that it was Yujun doing stuff that's good.
Ornn items rolling into 3 out of 5, waiting to see the Super Mega Death Cap come out to Sun.
Yeah.
There it is. 4 out of 5. I guess Hoglet will be the Wraith of the team, and to be fair, he has a long way to go for his second item to become a third, rather than upgrading any items. He's got no gold at all, Atlas.
Yeah, is he still level 16 as well? No, he's still level 15. He has actually done nothing.
It's 44 minutes in, and he has a Spectre's Cowl, Warmogs, and a Cinderhulk, and we're only just a little bit sure that he has the Warmogs unlocked.
Well, yeah, he does need to get fully leveled, you know, before that is going to be really working out.
He has it, but again, that's about all he has is a working Warmogs.
Oh my god. I mean, the amount of Flame Horizons that are happening in this game all over the place is actually kind of funny. So we've almost got one for Hybrid over Soul as well as Sun over Edge, and then Yujun over Hoglet.
Triple Zeal item complete. No boots, no shoes. The shoeless Legolas Warrior is Hybrid, whereas Ezreal predictably sticking with the CDR boots. Can Hybrid find a fight that works for him? Because we found skirmishes, like, for example, assassinating the Gangplank into a face check. We haven't seen a fight, and there's a lot of damage on KONGDOO Monster. Seems like that fight will represent the next Baron contest.
Well, Hoglet's finished 3 items now, Papa. So does have the adaptive helm down. Ever8 winners now. Fighting in the jungle could be dangerous, but there's the Ornn ultimate. Nice double knock up,
so
and immediately the QSS,
dead.
yeah, just dead. His Edge didn't even press any of his buttons as Secret. Now trying to get his way out, does have the Unbreakable Will, but can flash to get his way over the top. It's just the one pick onto Edge, and remember, he does have teleport after the 50-second death timer. That is going to buy Ever8 winners a lot of time. 45 minutes into this game already.
You go late enough in the game, the Gathering Storm onto the Tristana is going to kill people. No ability to turn around. No stasis, I believe, used in that fight either. From Edge, who just straight up dies. They also still have QSS in the inventory, so looking for a face check.
Yep, the barrel.
A lot of value on that passive.
Damn right, Sun not going to take any damage from that one.
Could this be Ever8 winners getting Baron? Could this be Ever8 winners going to that final game?
Could potentially be, as this one's going down extremely fast. Yujun wants to find a way in, but doesn't actually get it. As I think that crit was actually stronger than Smite at that point, especially with the fact that Hoglet is still very, very low on levels. Roach gets in, barrels. Oh, the triple chain! But we've got another Ornn ultimate to fly forward. Have a look at the Gangplank. See whether he can continue to get work done.
TP.
As now Edge makes his way through. Could it all have just been a ruse as they're trying to find the opportunity to get in? Cannon Barrage, very, very close to coming back up, but the chase potential from KONGDOO is still there with the Iceborne Gauntlet. The barrels, they're still looking for them, but Roach is just going to get exploded, and now the turnaround, massive damage, triple kill in for the Tristana Hybrid. Just finds it, and I swear to God, Edge has been dead for a long time now.
And this means the game might just actually be decided here. They're going to roll down mid lane 50-second plus onto Soul and Edge. That's probably GG.
Yep, Secret and Yujun probably not going to be enough to try and weather this storm, and KONGDOO got so close to a 2-0, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. There's 2,000 gold in it right now, as the Elder Drake is going to be up in 10 seconds if Ever8 winners wanted to do it by the numbers, but they're not going to. They're going to take down the inhibitor turrets, the inhibitor going to follow. We're going to be going the distance tonight as Ever8 winners start to take down these Nexus turrets. Secret in a little bit of trouble. Yujun knows that he has to try and kill Tristana, but he's just not going to be able to, as the Nexus turrets are dead, and they've got enough. Ever8 winners turn around what looked like a hopeless situation and take the win over KONGDOO, bringing us to into Game 3.
Tristana needed 45 minutes to find the team fight. The damage had to be respected for the first 40. Always the rocket jump out, the rocket jump out. Ever8 winners thought that was their moment when they could stop the backs and actually pick up a pick on the backside. Tristana, she turns around. She's got 4 Gathering Storm procs. She blows them away. And we got a best of 1 to decide who will be eliminated from the tournament.
And when it comes to games like this as well that are so incredibly intense, they go so late, and then you manage to clutch out a win, the momentum boost that you get from that is absolutely fantastic. And we know that the mental situation for KONGDOO Monster is just not great right now. We saw them earlier on up against Griffin almost fall apart after that loss. You can see them, they're looking devastated right now.
And what does the coaching staff do? Yujun had a good game, but usually Raze is there. He's the closer, he's the enabler, he's the only one that's picked up a game win. And that sinking feeling for KONGDOO Monster, they're all feeling it. You can see it written on their faces, worn on their sleeves. Ever8 winners will say, just win one game, and let's see what happens in the best of 5 on Sunday.
Exactly, and now it's all about rolling that dice like you say. We remember that Ever8 winners had a good start, but guys, short break, then we're back for the final game of the night.